I want you to imagine you're leading a squad with an attack on a nearby village, slowly crawling through foliage using it as concealment, reliving your childhood of playing all gillied up on COD 4, but in a multiplayer game. Well, you can't, because for no reason at all, we can lower our grass settings to make concealment via foliage obsolete. And this works both ways. You get ambushed by somebody prone in a field, you can't see them through the thick grass, but somehow they just keep nailing you. Yet another reason this setting needs to be removed. But it doesn't stop there. Now imagine you're hiding in a tree line, using the dark shadows to keep you covered during a sunny day. Yet somehow players seem to always be able to see you no matter what. That's because you can just turn off distant shadows. There really is no reason for these settings to exist, and in this video I'm going to get exactly into why they don't need to be there, with proof before your eyes. I recently made a video about this just to raise awareness to console players that can't turn these settings down, and the boom of new players entering the game that don't understand how this works. In the video I suggested that these settings should be removed from PC players. Like I said, they do not need to exist. I was quite surprised to be met with many comments accusing me of gatekeeping Reforger to high-end PCs only, and was told how people need to run these settings, as there's a 20 to 30% FPS increase from it, and they want better frame rates. I was being told that this is something that's been in previous Arma games over the last 20 years, so it shouldn't go anywhere purely for that reason. And that I was being a PC elitist by cutting out all the players with lower end PCs. Well, today I thought I would show you the testing I did to come to this verdict to really prove why these settings should be removed for the better of the game. You see, I happen to have access to 3 different PCs. I've got my main PC, a recording PC, and my wife's laptop, which just so happens to line up perfectly with the minimum requirements for Arma Reforger. So I took a little bit of a run around on Game Master on Everon, and what I found was exactly what I'd researched. So I've got my settings set to the low preset, and then I've turned down the grass and the foliage quality to what people are probably using for better visibility. And what you'll notice here is that as soon as I go into the settings and I turn the grass from lowest to medium, and the grass rendering up from 50 meters to 100 meters, there is little to no difference in my FPS. The minimum required specs for these games can run these settings absolutely fine. It makes zero difference to the frame rate. I know it's pretty hard to see the FPS rate in the corners, but what I can tell you is that when the number is white, that means I'm above 50 frames per second. When it goes below 50, the number will go yellow. So if it goes to 49 FPS, that number on the top right will go yellow. So I've got about 61 FPS I think it is here at this part, and you can see the exact same with the shadows. The distant shadows, as soon as I turn them to low and enable those shadows, visually it makes a massive difference, and to my FPS, no difference whatsoever. I still have the exact same frame rate, even with those distant shadows off. And the the difference visually is absolutely huge. The advantage you get by turning these shadows off is absolutely mental. I will go through all of these settings that I'm using on this laptop at the end of the video. So if you are running on lower end hardware and you want to get an idea of how to get the best frames possible, then do have a look at that at the end. But what you do not need to do is lower your grass beyond, like below medium, and turn off distant shadows, because it makes little to no difference whatsoever, and the game looks phenomenally different with them on. If they removed the low and lower settings, it would change the game for the better in so many ways. Even with these settings on, I can fly around in a heli at fast speeds, and like even at these fast speeds going across the water, you can see in the top right, I just about dip below 50, so I'm going like 47 FPS, but that's totally expected. I am on the minimum required specs for this game. This laptop is like 7 or 8 years old, and even then it was like a lower end hardware laptop, you know what I mean? Like this is old tech, but it runs the game just fine. Now, I know what some people are thinking, oh, that's just a Game Master mode, right? That's just a solo mode, there's nobody else on the map or anything like that. So I loaded into a community server that has 128 players in it. And again, the results was exactly the same. The average FPS was a little bit lower because it was absolutely pouring down with rain, and obviously there's a lot more people around. We even managed to get in and witness a team kill at the Arsenal, which is absolutely classic US, right? But you can see another example here, this long hallway here that has loads of grass running down alongside this fence. The advantage you get from putting it down to no is massive, yet my frame rate is the exact same. I got about 51 FPS here, right? 51 FPS holding this angle. I turn the grass back up to 100 meters, turn the quality back up to medium, and it makes no difference to my FPS. I'm still on the exact same frames. So I just wanted to put this video out, there's a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of people that would have you believe that these settings need to be in for PC players for lower end hardware, but it's simply not truth. And I really think Bohemia should remove these settings from the game. There's no downside to it. Everybody gains, right? Everybody gets a better looking game. We get to use concealment as it should be. I even had people in the comments telling me, "Oh, but Arma's a simulator. It's not a competitive game, so this shouldn't matter." This is exactly why it matters. It's a milsim, all right? What's the point in having a milsim game if you can't use basic levels of concealment to your advantage? All right? I mean, take a look at this. This is just a little bush here with a tree and stuff like that. You'd very easily spot somebody hiding in this bush at the base of that tree. You turn these settings to medium, and then this would probably become a spot that you would walk past somebody hidden inside that grassy area. You know, some people might not like the fact that people hide in bushes, but you know, that's just a part of the gameplay when it comes to realism. But yeah, if you guys agree with the sentiment, please share this out. Maybe we can get word. You know, maybe this can reach Bohemia and something can get done about it. But until then, don't use grass to hide, because yeah, some people will use these settings to their advantage. But as I said, these are my settings that I was running on the laptop at the time to get these frame rates. So yeah, feel free to copy them and try them out yourself. But thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.